Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I just want to make a quick video talking about the highest grossing media franchises we have on Veve and comparing them to the collectibles that we have on Veve and the collectibles that are worth the most in real life. So, starting off with the most valuable franchise we have on Veve, Mickey Mouse. $82 billion estimated revenue. Coming in a little bit closer, Star Wars at 70 billion. And of course, the MCU with Spider-Man and Batman and the DC universe. Now, anybody on the app will tell you that these DC, Disney, Marvel, Star Wars being part of Disney, and Marvel also being part of Disney, are the most valuable and expensive collectibles on the app. So let's see how they compare to the real life grails, as they say. So for our largest, Mickey Mouse, the most expensive in real life item is this 24 karat gold statue, which is worth about $4 million. Now, our Walt and Mickey statue, which is our in-app equivalent of the most valuable Mickey Mouse NFT, Mickey Mouse collectible, is this. Now, it's worth about $50,000. There's a long way to go. But if you look, they're fairly similar. It's a figurine. This is a digital figurine. Obviously, Walt's there, but okay. Now, if we go to the second largest franchise we have Star Wars, and the most valuable Star Wars collectible ever sold was an R2D2 that was used in the film, which sold for about $2.76 million. Now we compared this to what we have on Veve. We have an R2D2 as well, which is the higher rarity. So this is the most valuable Star Wars first appearance that we have, and rightfully so. It's R2D2's one of the most popular characters. Appears in all 9 films and more TV shows than C3PO. C3PO and R2 are the only 2 characters to appear in the Star Wars 1 through 9. So that's important to note. Although I would say that R2D2 is, for most people, a more beloved character. And that can be shown with this sale. The most expensive Star Wars item is an R2D2. And we have an R2D2 as the first appearance. So we kind of got lucky there. Of course, we didn't get as lucky as it being the same color, although C3PO is, although C3PO is not nearly as popular. But it is an R2D2 figure just like this. It's part of the golden moments, So again, these Walt, Disney, and or Mickey and R2D2 for Star Wars, they're very similar to the real life Grail. Moving on to the MCU and the DC universe, or the Marvel universe and the DC universe. So we'll go with the one that's bigger, Spider-Man. Spider-Man's very expensive. The first comic that was ever released that Spider-Man ever appeared in sold for $3.6 million. Obviously, on the app, we the first Spider-Man we have was a collectible. Although we did get a comic version later, although we did not get Amazing Fantasy 15, we got Spider-Man 1, which is the first series of Spider-Man, but not his first appearance. This is also, like Walt, one of the most expensive collectibles. I believe right now this is around 45K, down from 100K, so that matches the Walt and Mickey statue. The one thing to note about Marvel and DC is that the quote unquote grail in digital format is very different than the grail in real life. The grail for Spider Man is a comic book, and we know we have comics on the app, so we know we can get them. However, the grail is a collectible, whereas with R2D2 or Star Wars and Mickey Mouse and Disney, it's a figure. It's a statue. It's a collectible in both the digital and real life world that holds the most value. However, that's not true for Marvel and DC. The figures in Marvel and DC don't go for nearly as much as the comics. Another thing to note. So yeah, that's Spider-Man and the MCU. which the MCU is around 40 billion, Spider-Man around 30 billion. Moving down to Batman at 27 billion, the first NFT on the app, so it does have some value there. Looking at its counterpart, it's around 2.2 million on January 14, 2021. Um, yeah, it has a lot of value because it's the first NFT on Veve and the first DC NFT. But like I just said with Spider-Man, the most valuable Batman collectible is a comic book, and on the app we have a figure. Now, how much of a difference is this going to make? Um, will it like double the price because it's collectible? Unlikely, maybe, but it's not going to be like 10x difference in my opinion, unless like it is in the digital world. Um, it could be actually, I don't know, anything could happen. But all I know is that comics in the real world are much more valuable than figures in the real world. However, in the digital space, obviously these figures came before the comics, so that could be something to think about. But luckily for the two largest franchises, we got something very close to the actual real life Grail. But for these for DC and Marvel, I would be thinking always in the back of my head, is the comic, the first appearance of Spider-Man and the first appearance Batman comic gonna be worth more than Todd and Secret Rare Spider-Man? Um, that's all today. Just a quick view. I'll make another video hopefully next week, going over something that I see in the marketplace that I feel not many people are talking about.